So in today's video, we are going to talk about the current 5-star limited character, ACACIA KAGUYA, and how good she was on the field. I've seen a lot of people rate her very high on the list, so we are going to check everything she has to offer, if that's true or not. So before we begin, ACACIA KAGUYA is a DPS character who wields a pistol and can deal frost damage to freeze the enemy. So let's start with her first skill called Hover. Basically she throws a blade around her, dealing frost damage to the enemy and decreases their movement speed by 10% per hit at max 3 stack. The skill range for this skill is very wide, and you can hit the enemy while your skill is active. What annoys me sometimes is that, at close range the skill won't hit the enemy since the skill is positioned around you at a wide gap, and follows the character. But I don't really mind it, and it's just a small issue to be honest. ACACIA's first skill Hover is also the best ability among all the skills she has, once you add neuronics to her first skill. So let's take a look on her neuronics. This 2 passive adds so much potential to her skill that she can now spam her blade 3 times and tripling her damage. She can now freeze enemy once they are hit 3 times by her skill and deal a massive amount of frost damage when shot. The effect which it can be almost instant because of the sheer speed and numbers of her blade. With this, you can wipe out a horde of enemy faster than any character available right now in the game. That's how strong this skill was. Now on to her second skill, called Moon Halo. So basically, what this skill do is, you throw your blade at the target, and the blade flies around them dealing frost damage while applying all resistance debuff by 19.2%. It's a good skill to have, for more utility, when ACACIA was not on the field, and you want more damage done by your current character on the field. Like Life for example, her skill now deal more damage to the enemy because of the resistance debuff. So in short is good when you want to switch quickly, and apply status ailment on the enemy so you could do more damage, or you could switch out ACACIA, use the skill, and quickly switch back to her. Either way is fine. Now let's check her neuronics for this skill. Both of this skill is very useful, and has different uses. The first one can gather enemies in one place. It's good for multiple enemies that are stacked together, while you beat him up. And the other one is good for annoying boss or elite mobs that like to move a lot. Like this dude who always teleporting. Like seriously, this guy is annoying and infuriating. It's a crime to let this guy alive. For her ultimate, called Lunar Eclipse, ACACIA throws a large crescent moon to create an eclipse storm, dealing frost damage every 0.5 seconds and decreasing their movement speed by 10%. This skill is large enough for anyone nearby to get hit. It's a strong ability especially when the enemies get slowed down, since ACACIA has a passive ability that, whenever an enemy is inflicted by slow, your whole squad increase the damage dealt to them by 5%, and an extra 1% for every 100 alignment. Right now I have a total of 315 alignment. That means I get 3% more bonus for the increased damage. To increase your alignment you need to unlock more neuronics, so the more you have, the better. Let's take a look of her final neuronics. With this 2 passive, your ultimate can now gather enemies at the center and increases its duration by 10 for a total of 18 seconds. So you get more opportunity to make use of your passive ability, and this will also work on her first skill since it can slow enemies as well. So in summary, you want to unlock her neuronics like this. For her logistic, you want to farm Thebes squad. Since this logistic increases your active skill damage, and each time your skill or your support skill or ultimate hits the target, it increases your attack by 2% for a max of 20 stack. Since your skill hits your opponent really fast, getting it to 20 stack is not a problem for a total of 40% attack increase, and will also work on any skill or attack ACACIA has. Unlike this other logistic called Twilight Squad will only work on your active skill, and its damage output is very low compared to Thebes Squad.
What a pain. That's close
Her weapon of choice is of course a frost weapon. And if you have her signature weapon Pine Aurora, that would be best. Since this weapon adds alignment index and it increase your full squad damage by 3% per stack, maximum of 5 for a total of 15% each time Acacia support skill hits the enemy. And that would be all for Acacia. She's a great DPS and she's really versatile for what she can do, so I'd say she's really a top tier character, and I think with her utility like this, she can do a lot of crazy combination and stuff with your team members. So if you got lucky and you got her on your roster, there's no reason why you shouldn't invest on her. She is also my favorite character amongst the ones I have. So that's everything about her. And until next time.